Hi there. I want to go over our last module. If you can believe it, we are really getting close to the end of the course. We only have a couple of weeks left after this introduction here with our module 3, and we're going to be moving into empathy and culture. And I just want to give you a little perspective on this as we move forward. So week 6, empathy and culture, is a little bit more, I would say, so culture is going to be kind of defined a little bit differently in these two last weeks. So we have culture, and if we generally think culture, we can think of that, we can definitely think of it sociological in some different ways. But culture, we can think of people from different cultures, and that can relate to our countries of origin, for example, where we're talking about culture. So, we could say American culture is has some of these distinctions versus Indian culture, Chinese culture, those types of kind of differences that we can understand, or even regional differences within the United States. There's something more about Southern culture versus West Coast culture. So we have those kind of distinctions, and somewhat I think generally a lot of times we have some understandings of what those cultures are like. So that's really the focus of chapter 6 and thinking about, or week 6, excuse me, and thinking about culture. And so the videos, the lectures, the readings are talking about this, our social influences on culture. And this really relates a lot to our perspectives, perceptions, biases, stereotypes, things like that we can discuss. That often, if we do have biases or a feeling of a different perception of others, that can really challenge our ideas about empathy. And this is that kind of in-group, out-group thinking as well. And so, that's what this week 6 is about. This perception exercise is related to that. We'll just, kind of have fun with this, just envisioning different scenarios and how we may come up with these different ideas. And that's just unique to us, and that's okay. So I want you to explore that in the empathy action exercise. And when you read your classmates' posts, and hopefully you read more than one, think about that. Would you judge this person based on their perceptions of these different scenarios because they're different than yours? Or, how can you accept those and understand their descriptions? So that's kind of what we're getting at with the perception differences exercise. And then we just keep going with your growth entry journals and the knowledge check. So that is week 6. Week 7, this is our last week of the course. Week 7, I focused it a little bit more on culture in a sense of workplace, for example, or and with ideas about leadership. So this is a little bit more, week 6 was more of that kind of bigger macro focus on culture and more kind of regional and perhaps race ethnicity, and this week encompasses that as well, but on more of an applied, I guess, or in a specific setting, again, mostly in the workplace. And so we'll have some videos here. This is just a brief video on, a kind of a feeling of empathy within a medical setting. This is very specific to changing culture in the workplace and dealing with empathy and compassion. So, it becomes a little bit more filtered down in terms of culture in this last week. And then, I really do want you to start thinking about, you've got your final empathy growth journal reflection. And again, this can be, this is why you've been keeping a journal all semester long, is to be able to reflect back and to look back at that journal for this final reflection. But I want to make sure that you really are looking at these questions here. The goal of this course is, it's a course, and hopefully it's not just one you just think, oh, yeah, I'm just gonna put this one in my back pocket and move forward. Hopefully this is a course that will take you well into your future, and will hopefully impact you in your personal and your professional relationships, and family and career, and all of that, and moving forward. So really think about this journal reflection as something that you can take with you, and hopefully refer back to in whenever you need it, whenever you think empathy is called for. And then it's also thinking about these final media examples of empathy. So this is your final project. I don't think it's wise to just think about this a couple days before it's due. It's something that you really need to think about, and to provide these examples on empathy. So, not to kind of push you, but to start thinking toward the future here at the end of the course, and thinking about these final assignments and what you need to do for those. So just a brief overview of what's going on these last couple weeks. I hope you found it helpful. Thanks.